guys, Mrs. Jenkins here and welcome to my kitchen. Today we are going to be making blueberry muffins. Now I know there are some ingredients that are tricky to get at the moment. Flour may be one of them. Last week I wasn't able to get flour. This week I have, and previous weeks I have. So if you don't have these ingredients in your cupboard, please don't pester whoever's at home. That Mrs. Jenkins says we've got to make blueberry muffins. Of course you can just make them when you have the ingredients, or if you don't have them then have a look at see what the next recipe is that comes out, and hopefully you have those in the cupboard. So please don't think that you have to make these. If you don't have the ingredients you have to go out especially for them. You definitely do not. So please don't pester whoever's at home because they're very busy too. So blueberry muffins. I am going to put up a list of the ingredients. So 100 grams of soft unsalted butter, 140 grams of golden caster sugar, 2 large eggs, 140 grams of natural yogurt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. If you have vanilla essence, then that's absolutely fine. Just use 2 teaspoons if you have vanilla essence. 2 tablespoons of milk, and it doesn't really matter what milk you have, just use whichever type of milk you have in the fridge. 250 grams of plain flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 tablespoons of bicarbonate of soda, 125 grams of blueberries, and a sprinkling of demerara sugar for the top. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is wash your hands. I've already washed mine, so I don't need to do mine again. So make sure you wash your hands, and I would suggest that you have all of your ingredients weighed out and ready to go. It's just a bit easier. So if you can do that, that'd be easy. If not, just do it as you go along. Okay, so first things first, we need our butter. Now, you need to make sure your butter is soft. So if you have had it out of the fridge for some time, brilliant. But if you haven't, a little trick for you. So if you use something like a jug, or as long as it's plastic, like a plastic bowl or something like that, get your butter and then put the bowl over the butter so it can just sit like that on the side, and that creates kind of like a vacuum, which means it's a lot warmer inside than it is outside, and that will make your butter melt pretty easily. If not, you could always melt it in the microwave, but just make sure you don't over melt it so it's purely melted butter. It just needs to be soft. Okay, so I've already weighed my butter, so it's 100 grams of butter. I'm going to put that into my bowl. And then we need our golden caster sugar. I'm going to pop that inside the bowl. So now, if you can have a look and see inside, we're going to beat those together until it's all combined together. Now, if you have a whisk at home, an electric whisk, you can use that. I'm just trying to use things at home that most people will have, and also things that you can use on your own. So if you use an electric whisk, it might mean that you need a bit more help to do that. And the idea really is for these recipes, if you want to do them, are kind of as fuss-free as possible. So you just need to combine all the sugar in with the butter. If you do use the electric whisk, just make sure the butter is combined at least a little bit before you put it in, otherwise the sugar will all fly out. Keep going, takes some time. Okay, now you can add your eggs. So 2 eggs. And the best thing to do is just to mix them one at a time with the mixture. That's it. And the good thing about muffins, they're pretty foolproof. So you don't need to worry about not mixing them too hard or anything like that. They're pretty robust, they're pretty strong stuff. And that's the second egg going in now. And just give it a mix. And it will start to look a bit gloopy, a bit separated. I don't know if you can see that. It's all a bit... Okay, and then just try and break up some of the lumps inside. Okay, so now you want to get your yogurt, and that is 140 grams of natural yogurt, and pop that in. And give that a stir. The more ingredients you put in here, the more wet ingredients you put in, it will be easier to mix it. So don't worry if it's lumpy, it's meant to be lumpy. Okay, now you need to take the vanilla extract. Now some of you might have vanilla essence at home, that's fine to use. Vanilla extract is a bit better, it's just a bit stronger in flavour. So if you have vanilla essence rather than extract, maybe use just double the quantity. Okay, so we need, how much extract do we need? We need 1 teaspoon. So let me have a look at my teaspoons. 1 teaspoon. Now teaspoon shortened is TSP. So 1 teaspoon, and that goes in. Give that a mix. And then we need our milk, and we need 2 tablespoons of milk, and shortened for tablespoon is TBSP. That's 1 and 2. Okay, so should look a bit, it's quite sloppy and it's got lumps in it, but it really doesn't matter. Again, with muffins, it doesn't matter at all. So now we need to get our dry mixture and add that in. So that's flour, and that is plain flour, and that is 250 grams. So that's going in with 2 teaspoons of baking powder. My measuring. So 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 and 2. And then we need 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. You can use the same spoon. And that goes in. Okay, so now you need to start folding that in. And when you fold something in, you just do it in a round circular motion, or you can do like an 8 shape. So round, through and back, round, through and back. But again, as I've said lots, with muffins, really doesn't matter. If you were making fairy cakes, or you know, an actual sponge cake, that would make a difference. Now just make sure that all of your dry ingredients, can you see I've still got some dry ingredients around the side, just make sure that you scoop those, scrape them from the side, and just make sure it goes into all the wet ingredients. It's just combining the dry with the wet. Okay, and when that has combined and you've got no more dry parts of flour, and I think I'm pretty much there, as you can see, I've got no dry parts and everything has combined nicely. Then pop in your blueberries, and it's 125 grams of blueberries. Now my blueberries are particularly large, so you might find it doesn't look like I've got a lot, but there is plenty in there. and then just combine that together, fold it. Be very careful that you don't squish all of those blueberries, and combine them until they are all together. Now what I find helpful here is a spatula, and I should have one somewhere. Haha, in my drawer. And that just helps you to get everything off. So everything off the spoon and everything off of the side of the bowl, because we don't want to waste anything. Okay, so now, as you can see, by using a spatula, it just automatically cleans everything off the side. So now we are ready to share that out, divide it amongst 12 cases, 12 muffin cases. Now, you can do that beforehand, or you can stop this. Nothing's going to happen to this. Just leave it there and then put the cases in the tray. Now, make sure you use muffin cases. So muffin cases are a bit bigger. I'll show you. So muffin cases are that big, and if you were making a fairy cake, they're much smaller, okay? They're not as high on the sides, so you really do need to use muffin cases. Okay, so you need 12 of these. I'm going to pop that in there. So 12 of these all together. So now you need to take your mixture and divide it in amongst all of the cases, okay? Now what you can use for these is 2 tablespoons. If you were doing fairy cakes, I would say using 2 teaspoons is probably easier, but with muffins it's probably best just to use tablespoons. So you take 1 tablespoon, put it inside the mixture, and then just scoop it into the tray like that. So again, another mixture, and then pop it into the tray, and you just keep going until you've shared it out. Okay, so now you have all of the mixture divided between the cases. Now, don't worry if you've gone over here or here, it really doesn't matter. They'll just crisp off, and you can take them off if you want to at the end. Now, one thing I like to do on top of the muffins is, if you get some demerara sugar, or if you have any other sugar, but demerara works better. It's really hard, it's quite crunchy too. So if you take some, and put some in your hand or in a bowl, and if you take some like this and just crumble it and just sprinkle it over the top of your muffins. Not too much, it just gives it kind of a crunchy top, which I always think is really nice, but you don't have to do that. That is about it. So these will go in the oven for around about 20 minutes, but everybody's ovens are different, but these usually take about 20 minutes in my oven. So the oven is at 200 degrees Celsius, and if you have a fan oven, that is 180, and that's gas mark 6. Okay, so that's going to be for 20 minutes. Okay, so these had exactly 20 minutes in the oven, and as you can see, they're nice and golden on top, and if you touch them, they're quite firm to the touch. But the way to check if they are cooked is to put a skewer in, a metal skewer or a cocktail stick, and if you take it out and it's clean, then that means it's done inside. So yeah, 20 minutes in the oven they took, and they smell amazing. So when you take them out of the oven, if you put the tray on the side and then leave them to cool in the tray. Don't take them out when they're warm. They need to firm up, so they need to be in the tray. So yes, blueberry muffins, I hope you enjoy. If there is anything that you think, oh, I'd really like to learn how to make that, or I've always wanted to bake this, let me know and I'll see what I can do. So I will see you next time. Bye.